Was planning on proposing but found my partner's Reddit. I have been planning on proposing this month to my partner and told one person about this so far. I was on a subreddit browsing and found a post that sounded familiar, so I read it and found my partner's Reddit, probably one of at least a few, account. I found out that they were extremely uncomfortable with me a few times earlier on in relationship, where hundreds of people commented saying that I'm an asshole, red flag, dumpster fire. About 2 months ago, my partner asked Reddit how to break up with me. Nothing had happened around that time, no cheating or any arguments. I also found out that they are hiding how much they drink, and that they are secretly smoking again. I feel like I want to not disclose to my partner that I know their account because they disclosed a lot of info that came as surprise to me, and maybe I want to keep monitoring it, but I am really shook. Feeling bummed out and confused. Any advice? First, make sure it's actually their account. People are not that unique and many situations happen to many people. This Reddit has repeat posts all the time if it actually theirs. Well, I would say not proposal time, but you need to work on stuff to make it better or break up. If they are so uncomfortable in relationship, how positive are you that it's your partner's account? If it was me, I'd tell them you found it. Talk with your so. Tell them you were browsing the subreddit that deals with their medical condition because you were seeking more information about it. They have a medical condition and I browse the subreddit to read about other PPLS experience, info on it. Tell them that one account you were reading has a lot of similarities to your relationship. Then start to explain your concerns. This will hopefully let them understand you were not stalking them, but came across it accidentally. Hope it works out for the best for you, whatever that may be. I find it quite concerning that you two are at such drastic different points in your relationship. How is it possible that you think everything is fine and good and you think about taking the next step while your partner had issues in the past and thought about breaking up and hide their drinking and smoking? Are you sure you know your partner? Because obviously they don't communicate with you. I suggest you have a real talk with your partner. Tell them you found their account because you were looking up stuff for their condition. Talk through the issues and ask why they didn't talk to you when they had relationship problems. If you two want to make this work, then you both need to improve your communication with each other. You should be honest and tell them you stumbled upon the account. First, find out if it actually is their account. If it is, listen to what is making them so unhappy in the relationship and if they are willing to speak to you about any of this. And if they actually are unhappy in the relationship, just break up with them. They should be discussing these things with you, not months and months of badmouthing you on the internet. This is not healthy communication. Edit. Changed wording to be more gender neutral. I found out that they were extremely uncomfortable with me a few times earlier on in relationship, where hundreds of people commented saying that I'm an asshole, red flag, dumpster fire. Why were they uncomfortable with you? What did you do? I'm interested in hearing their side of the story. My boyfriend found my old Reddit account fairly at the beginning of the relationship. I also had a lot of issues with him and couldn't help myself but put it on Reddit. It helped me to manage my feelings and to get perspective, even if most of the advice will always be that you should dump the other person. We talked about it and he told me to make a different account so he can't look it up again because he got how it helped me. So talking is really the better option. Find out why they do it. I found out my roommate placed a hidden cam in our apartment and I am now afraid of her. I live with my roommate for about half a year now, and just recently I found a camera on her shelf in the living room when I was passing by. I was so freaked out I went to my other friend's place to live until my roommate came back from vacation and confront her about this. I feel like not only was my privacy invaded, my whole trust in her was broken. I'm legit so scared that my private phone calls with my family and my friends have all been recorded and she's been watching me this whole time. It doesn't help that the bathroom is right in the field of vision of the camera along with the kitchen. I can't imagine if I had felt relaxed when she wasn't around and walked out of the bathroom half naked or something. I am so scared right now, and I don't know how to confront her. She's also my friend of several years, and I just don't want to say. Can anyone give me advice on how to talk to her about this? Clarification. When she said no guys allowed, she means no males. Only females, that's what she said. When I asked if my dad can come over if he was in the city, she said she wasn't comfortable with any males in the house, and that included my dad. Accidentally, put something in front of the camera and see what happens. There are likely more hidden cameras. My ex-roommate did this. He was mentally ill and obsessed with me. Your roommate's motivations are likely to be different, and it sounds like she may have some trauma related to men and the cameras are to make sure men don't come over. But the cameras are still a major violation, so here is what you can do. Assume that there is another camera somewhere. Possibly more than one. Comb the place and cover or remove every single one. When she comes back, you need to confront her. It doesn't have to be in person, and if it is in person, you should have someone with you. I'm not clear what the rental situation is, but if it's realistic for you to break your contract and move out, do that. You can't trust her. It could just be used for security purposes, but she definitely should have let you know that it was there. I would just casually bring it up like, "Oh, I noticed the camera. How long have you had it?" Or something like that. Don't accuse her of something straight away. If you're really uncomfortable with it, then just be straight up and let her know. But yeah, she definitely should have told you there was a camera there. Have you ever felt creeped out by her before? Giving her the benefit of the doubt, she could just be using it for security purposes, but this is definitely a violation of privacy if she didn't tell you it was around. I'd bring it up the next morning you see her. I honestly think you'll be fine, but you do need to address this. PL send updates. People putting up cameras in their own home grosses me out, but wow, that's a major violation to not even let anyone know. My uncle was the first person to have cameras up like in 2009. They didn't tell me until a few days in. Take the camera and wait and see if, what she says. Also, creepy AF. There are techniques for finding hidden cameras, you should definitely check for them. Was dating a nurse who was doing some sketchy stuff. What do I do? I, 42 male, was dating a nurse, 34 female, for the last 4 months. At first things were great, but quickly began to realize we were not a good match. I'm not a big drinker and I am very anti-drugs. She is a huge drinker and it quickly became apparent that she also had a drug problem. She was constantly bringing home drugs from work and using them. She is a help-at-home nurse, so she's not in a hospital, she goes to patients' homes. I've seen her go to work drunk and/or high and it's scary. These are mostly elderly people she takes care of and I'm nervous something is gonna happen due to her inability to be sober at work. I have since ended the relationship. But I'm wondering what to do with the fact that I know what's going on. I care about her and if she was sober I definitely think we could have had a relationship, and I don't want to ruin her life or make her lose her job. But on the other hand I am more worried about the patients she takes care of. Open to any advice. Ratting her out and getting her fired might be the wake-up call she needs to clean up. She's probably stealing from her patients. I understand that you want to protect someone important to you, but per the nature of their job you have to say something, as she's responsible for the care of people who are important to someone too. Whistleblowing, especially when you know the person well, can be really rough, but it needs to be done if there's an order of care involved. This may sound emphatically preachy, but I worked with children in education and then respite care for a long time. Anonymous or otherwise, I agree it would be the best thing for everyone involved, yourself included. Let the company and hospital know, she is shorting her patients' medications and they are suffering. Call the company she works for, make an anonymous tip. Report her immediately. Contact the state licensing board. Hell, contact the police. Prescription drug theft is one of the only kinds of theft they'll actually respond to. Reading between the lines, she is stealing opiates from patients and nowadays those are only prescribed to people who really need them. Besides that, she is presumably setting IVs, hanging bags of drugs or other fluids, and other delicate tasks that could be lethally screwed up by someone impaired. She is a legitimate danger to others this way. As a nurse I can say that this behavior needs to be reported ASAP. Both to her immediate supervisor and the board of nursing. Most nursing boards have programs and protection for nurses with substance abuse issues. Most likely your girlfriend is so deep in her addiction that she needs a wake-up call. It's not fair to her patients, the profession, or herself to keep this a secret. Everything has a managing body, it'll depend on where you are in the world, but even a work agency will be liable. Local councils or their equivalent usually have an independent body dedicated to investigating care standards, so there's a good place to start. If you feel that it wouldn't be handled in-house, find whoever watches the watchman, so to speak. Call her employer and report her to the nursing board. I used to do elder investigations and they can seriously injure or kill someone and that person's family often doesn't get the justice they deserve. The nursing board can suspend her and force her to seek therapy and then reinstate her license later when she's proven she can stay sober. Muslim girl and atheist boy. I'm a Muslim girl dating an atheist. He used to be Muslim. The issue is he's serious and want to marry me in a few years and we've been planning our life together. I am a progressive Muslim, but I am sacred of my parents and what they'll say. He has tattoos too. I am honestly worried and I love him and want to marry him. Please help. As long as he doesn't go on rants in gatherings, I don't see why should anyone even know. I, atheist, personally dated a Muslim boy and it ended up resulting in heartbreak and pain, because we wanted such different things for our futures. I don't know your exact situation, but I would recommend seriously examining your relationship. Well, listen. Having a mature conversation and being frank and honest, stating your views and the reality of your relationship situation is ideal. However, your post stated that you're scared. Don't risk your safety and security if that is the case. At some point your parents will find out, but it's easier for you to break the news after marriage, living in your own place far away. Use foundation. Cover up the tattoos and make sure your partner is a good actor, because parental pressure can be damaging and you don't need that. Is the issue just your parents? If so, and he is comfortable with it, you could always just tell your parents that he is still a Muslim. That's what my wife and I do. She is Greek Orthodox Christian, I'm agnostic. Her dad's side of the family is uber religious. We just tell them that I'm a non-denominational Christian to avoid drama. I'd normally take a stand, but my wife and her dad's side of the family already have a lot of past baggage and she doesn't need it to be torn apart again, so I do it for her. Do what my friend's parents did. Just pretend that he's still a Muslim during family gatherings and that's it. It's your decision to make, but I generally think it's a terrible idea for a religious person to marry an atheist. This is likely going to be very hard to navigate if you have kids. If you need your parents' money to finish university, I'd probably not tell them until you're done. In the meantime, he can be working and saving money so that the two of you can start a life together. You should save as much money as possible as well, making sure your parents don't have access to your bank accounts. I know a lot of people wouldn't understand this, but he can pretend to be Muslim around your family or just not state his beliefs, participate in things as necessary. If he has a Muslim family and name, it helps a lot.